Hey guys, I hope everyone's doing well. Here to do a pickups video covering, what are we covering? Bit of March, bit of April, perhaps end of Feb as well. I'm being a bit erratic with pickups. So a few things to go through, a lot of handheld stuff, perhaps unsurprisingly. Game Boy bits, we got some DS. What else? We got a couple of Switch games, Dreamcast. And yeah, and some other little bits and bobs as well. So yeah, hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, just off the back of the Easter weekend. Now I've got a couple of days off work, so yeah, thought I'd do a bit of filming and kind of catch up on a bit of YouTube. I've been trying to watch as much as possible and comment as much as possible, but still got a few more on the playlist, so or the watch list. So yeah, be kind of cracking on with that later tonight for sure. But yeah, like I say, I just wanted to go through a few things. Hopefully the camera's going to be okay. I kind of broke, it was a bit of a cheap tripod thing off Amazon, but yeah, that had its kind of final outing. So yeah, I'm going to precariously balancing my phone against the wall and then a stack of DS games, so it literally all come crumbling down, but let's see how we do. Yeah, first things first, I got a lovely gift, courtesy of Buttercup, as in Rogie, a retro gamer, and Buttercup. So yeah, she messaged me a while ago and said, "Oh, I think I've got something you'd like. Can I sling it in the post?" And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds awesome." And yeah, there was a bit of a mishap with the parcels, but we won't go pointing fingers. But yeah, just watch. One of Roger's videos, I think the truth or the facts certainly air on that one. But yeah, this one went to Scotland and then back down. It got returned to sender, and yeah, a couple of messages from Buttercup. She's like, "Look, it's supposed to chucking it in the post again. Can we come and see you?" So they typically do at least like a monthly trip to my neck of Essex, really to see the Retro Hunter, sometimes do a bit of miso or nerd base, and have a look around. So yeah, it was one, I think it was a Saturday, so it nicely coincided with one of their trips. I was around, and yeah, both of them came in, had a couple of glasses of squash and some good natter, and gave me the parcel. But yeah, absolutely lovely couple. Always cool to see them. I've seen them a couple of times. I'm normally at the Retro Hunter. And yeah, it was cool. I think we put the world to rights and talked about absolutely everything. So it was a good couple of hours spent for sure. And what did they give me? So yeah, I think for the PS4, obviously a Tomb Raider game, Lara Croft. I haven't played this one, Temple of, I'm going to pronounce it wrong, Osiris, like a gold edition. Can I open it? Yeah, it comes with, as well as the game, you get like a little map and the figure, really cool figure as well, the double pistols. So really nice. So yeah, the backlog is growing and growing, but this is one which I need to kind of push up the queue, kind of reprioritise to get stuck into that. So yeah, big thanks to those two, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys again soon. What else I see? I saw something down here. Got a couple of bits that I grabbed. One of them, it was a charity shop buy, and I'm sure I had this back in the day, but God knows what happened to it. But yeah, the complete Phoenix Knights. I think they only did a couple of series, but absolutely love Peter Kay, and yeah, this is an absolute blooming delight of a series. So bloody funny, with Brian Potter. Yeah, he plays a few. Most of you, if not all of you, would have seen it, but yeah, absolutely classic. He plays a few of the characters, so well written, just like bloody hilarious, and probably even less politically correct these days as it was back in the day. And which I don't know when it came out. It felt maybe 2000, must be 2000s, perhaps. Yeah, it must have been around there. But yeah, absolutely cool. So be watching those again. A game that's probably in everyone's pickups, and yeah, probably the most modern game I'm gonna I'm going to show you, but absolutely blooming awesome. Probably about a third of the way through. So Resi 4 remake, and yeah, lovely game. I kind of got the demo where you get to like the village bit, and then it kind of cuts out after. But yeah, really cool. So yeah, I think I'm about a third of the way through. Seems to be a bit more forgiving with ammo than perhaps I remember on the GameCube version, and either find ammo or you kind of make your own ammo. But yeah, really loving it. Plays superbly well. It's been a long time since I played the GameCube version. So yeah, perhaps once I've gone through this, at another point I have to get the GameCube one on and then do a bit of a compare and contrast. But it does. I mean, it looks beautiful. An absolute treat of a game. So chuffed with that. Yeah, this weekend I'll do a separate video on it. But this weekend I went to Star Wars Celebration at the XL. So every couple of years, they flip around the world and yeah, kind of get loads of the kind of the actors and directors and all sorts kind of props, various bits together, and they do kind of panel shows, and a bit like a Comic-Con really, but just like big scale and solely focused on Star Wars. So that was good. But I'll do a separate video on that. But whilst I was away, I managed to bag myself a bit of a cheeky weekend away, and it was right next door to a cinema. So on one night I was a bit of a loose end. So a couple of things I wanted to see. Mario was one, and I thought I can't see that about my son. I get in serious trouble because that's a bit of like an Easter holiday treat. So he's got an inset day at school next Monday, I think. So we're probably going to go and see it then. But the other film I really wanted to see was Dungeons and Dragons, and really blooming good, really good film. It's got everything, going for it. It's got the D&D references. In terms of that kind of lore and the obviously the game, loads of action, some pretty blooming good like comedy thrown in. The effects are wonderful. I think it's like the D&D film that I've always wanted. The one I think was it Jeremy Irons was an absolute, in my opinion, a load of pants. That's a few years ago. But then yeah, it's kind of special effects and stuff's kind of moved on since, but it had a bit of a Goonies humour, if that makes sense. Some of those older films. Yeah, so yeah, I recommend it. But it got me into a bit of the D&D spirits. I picked up from the cartoon Hank. I'll probably show that on the last pickups, or maybe the one before. But it's some good books that have come out. It's like a Where's Wally type one. I think I do like an annual, and then a bit of a graphic novel roll call. So it's nicely done, fairly straightforward kind of plot line, but nicely weaved together with the game, when it introduces like certain characters. From let me go to final. You get a little bit there which a bit tongue in cheek, but kind of strength, dexterity, hit points, and all of that, but fairly cheap and cheerful from Amazon. So that was good. Yeah, a current pickup really. I went to Nerdbase today in Battlesbridge, Essex. Just had a look around. No toys took my fancy, or there were some, but they were like really, some of the ones I was after was crazy pricey. I wanted to also try and get like kind of a bit like Gold Dust at the moment, but like for the new Indiana Jones film, they've re-released a lot of the Indiana Jones like vintage figures. So I've got a few of the 3 3/4 figures, which you can see is 3 there. But I want to get this like a 6-inch indie figure, so I thought they might have it, but they didn't. They had all of the other ones, but yeah, hopefully I'm sure they'll get them back in. They'll get them back in stock. I mean, the film isn't even out yet, so they'll get them back in stock. I found like a few other bits. They have like this newish kind of section. I don't know if they've kind of purchased a bit of a bulk load of posters. But they were kind of like, I think it was like £1 a pop. So I just went through and a bit of Bandcamp. That time in Bandcamp, American Pie 2. Any of it. I've got a bit of nostalgia for. Some of them aren't particularly old. Mission Impossible 3. Would have liked to have got the original one for this, but for the sequel, which is still pretty good. Meet the Fockers, which is pretty decent. do love anything to do with the League of Gentlemen. So the film Apocalypse. Link to the first thing I showed you. Tomb Raider. Believe that, like 2001. Where's the bloody time gone? It's like, that's absolutely nuts. And yeah, this other thing, which yeah, let's just show it. So Turtles from back in the day, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all the coins. I say all the coins. There's a bit. I think April O'Neil. It's not missing because it wasn't actually on the. Isn't actually on the card. Isn't like a character on the card, which is a bit weird because you've got loads of the other ones, but it's still pretty pucker. It's 1990. But you got all the Turtles. You got Mouser. Bit of Krang, Technodrome, Turtle Copper, Blimp Glider, and yeah, for the pricey sum, 12 quid, which I thought was alright. It's pretty sturdy. Bit of tape at the back to stop those coins falling through. But yeah, I guess they must have done them on mass. But I thought that's pretty decent price. I would have thought compared to, like, the figures and some of the other stuff, they go for a lot more than that. These are off eBay. Still got the Ulysses fetish, or Ulysses 31. So some French, yeah, someone was selling some French comics. That'll be to get the old dictionnaire out. But yeah, really nice cover art. You got the gang there, little no in the middle. Telemachus, Ulysses. Yeah, so yeah, chuff with them. Yeah, a few bits and bobs. Now the original figures, they go for like a blooming, absolute blooming fortune. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the main place getting them from France, but even then, it's ridiculous. They're like kind of triple, lots of them are like triple figures, and they're not even quite like a bit of a cheesy toy thing. To be a bit of a soft sculpt. They're not particularly like detailed at all, and you can get the ship as well, but yeah, silly money, so I pass on that. Just gonna have a slurp. Still got this over from the weekend. Hotel, I did get myself a few beverages, a Captain Morgan rum and cola, the original Spice Gold, so not bad. Yeah, I said I didn't know. I said that Resi game was the only kind of modern-y bit, and I was clearly lying because I've got a couple of Switch games. First one, I saw, he's spoken about a few times, Daily Retro. So Dale has spoken about this one, Art of Rally. Kind of a colourful art style. So yeah, rally racer. You can it's got some fairly funky kind of mechanics in it. I think it's one of those where you need to put a bit of time into it. So nothing wrong with it, but it's a bit of a steeper learning curve as opposed to, it's not like just a jump in arcade game to get around the kind of the mechanics and all the rest of it. But you get the game, you get some stickers. I'll cover it up because I haven't downloaded it. That's bloody small anyway. But yeah, you get the soundtrack download, which is pretty good. But yeah, lots to explore. It does look amazing. Like the art style is pretty spot on. But yeah, I need to put some time into this. I was played it a little bit for the weekend. I was bloody awful at it. Not good at all. Spinning off the track. And there's bits. What's the best way to describe it? Like Tony Hawk's, where there's the kind of things you need to pick up and kind of collect as you go around. So I think you see like the word rally and stuff like that. But to get to, you need to do like funky little jumps and stuff. I haven't got to any races. Yeah, I'm probably still on the bloody tutorial for all I know. Yeah, good game. D&D, again, Dungeons and Dragons has kind of taken over. So I was like, okay, what's a decent, it's on the Switch still, a decent kind of D&D type game. I've gone for, yeah, Baldur's Gate, Unos and 2. 1 and 2, and you get like funky kind of enhanced editions, and I think some additional little missions and stuff like that. So I had about not too long, about a couple of hours on it when I was away. I tinkered a little bit the settings because I had it in handheld mode, and some of the text is like really small. So I think through some of the options I managed to get it a bit bigger, but it's one I think I'm going to be playing on the telly. Even these bloody 2020 glasses, I'm going to struggle with this on the handheld. But it does look good. Probably a lot better with the mouse. But yeah, I thought I'd give it. It wasn't too expensive off Amazon. I thought I'd give that a shot. And yes, now let's do these two, and then we'll just be on to the handhelds. So yeah, this one is it's the game, and I did check when it turned up today. I ordered it in April. Was it 2021? So it's taken like 2 years, and some of it is because one of the games has only recently obviously come out. It's been delayed, and there was another game with it, and I think they just kind of held back on posting that one out. And to be honest, I couldn't. Yeah, I was mainly bothered by the main one, which has come out on the 3DS, and perhaps some other. It's come out on the PlayStation 4 maybe. Certainly on the 3DS because I got it on the 3DS, but now it's on the Dreamcast. Andro Dunos 2, and I don't know if it's linked to when it is ordered. One would like to think it is, but 3,000 copies is a 243rd, so it's been a bloody long time. It's still sealed, but I'm not going to be keeping it sealed. I'm going to be giving this one a shot, which is good. And I must have been feeling the need for shmup because at the same time I got Ghost Blade, and again I'll be honest, it's been so bloody long. I opened it up the box and I was like, oh, did I get that as well? So again, like I say, I've only opened them this morning, so you've got the nice reflection of a sealed box, but that won't be the case for too long. Game Boy, DS stuff. Start with an absolutely shit game, but it was cheap, and it Game Boy Color. And I do like Austin Powers, so I think they did a couple of Austin Powers games. Obviously, it's a Dr. Evil one, Welcome to My Underground Lair. But yeah, it did got terrible blooming reviews. Just a sucker for a bit of Nintendo Game Boy cardboard, but I reckon it could be a bit of a shocker. Shocker with that one. Some of these other ones, and the last item, which in fact isn't a handheld game, I'm probably going to forget about it, and if I do, I'll have to do another maybe YouTube short to make up for it. But yeah, I had a real downsize of Saturn, so I only kept Saturn games that kind of either gifted to me or meant a hell of a lot. The rest of it I kind of passed on, and the Wii U as well. So again, mainly because I just wasn't playing it enough. I've got so many systems, and it sounds a bit cheesy, but I felt the need to just kind of focus, and it was just getting a bit out of hand with very kind of broad collection, and which wouldn't have been a problem if I had the time and everything was like set up. But I just haven't got the space and the means to set everything up, and I don't have the money to keep collecting for everything, even if I'm kind of a bit focused on certain games within certain collections. But I just didn't have it back in the day. It's probably the least nostalgia for the Wii U. So that's pretty much, again, apart from a couple of games, one of which I think it was from like the swap shop last year, that I promised someone I still haven't met with, but I put that to one side in case that person's watching and they cryptically know what the hell I'm talking about. And a couple of other ones, a couple of like rarer ones, probably not around, kind of hidden a bit behind there, on the shelves. But that kind of went. Funnily enough, coincidentally, was watching Ollie 8-Bit Boy, and he had a video up, and he was going through some Wii U games he'd picked up. I think him and his son were trying to, kind of getting into that, but needed a console. So yeah, with all the games going out the door, I had a console at the ready to send on. So it's exactly what happened with that. But the money which I used from those went to a few things, including some stuff which I'll probably show on a separate video. But some of these were bought with that. So stick with the Game Boys, try and redeem ourselves from that shitty Austin Powers. A new Game Boy game on the Green Boy label, Shapeshifter, which again I just haven't had the time to play. I think I went to pick these up. Yeah, Retro Hunter probably a couple of weeks ago. But you kind of a bit of a, it was like not quite like an RPG. It calls it a point and click. You travel around. You bit of a Wonder Boy kind of feel to it in terms of you touch a certain animal and then you turn into them, and then use that to kind of get through the various chapters of the game. So I thought that was a bit of a different one. I don't know if it was like a Kickstarter, or I certainly missed the, it's not that old, 2021. I missed the chance, the time to pick it up. Ali had a copy and I was like, look, let's get involved with that one. Let's bounce around the generations a bit. DS game from like Club. I think this is a Club Nintendo exclusive. I think originally I thought it was just Japan, but I think it came out pretty much in every blooming region. Fairly, yeah. Pretty cool artwork. It's only got like 3 games on it: Donkey Kong, Oil Panic, Greenhouse, and I think they did a sequel, so I'll be on the look out for that. But I'm not desperate for it. But yeah, little Club Nintendo thing on there, which is cool. Got some DS games, so trying to build up the DS collection. I think I've got about 120 now. I'm not going to be an idiot and go full set again like I did for the other Nintendo console. But there's some really good games for it. My son likes it as well. There's some really simpler games to play. There's some like TV. It's into his TV game shows and stuff. So there's a few of them. But yeah, I'm really blabbering away. So Konami, like Time Hollow. Yeah, it looks like quite a. Whether or not it's any good, I'm not too sure. It's got a bit of a graphic adventure kind of feel to it. It's got this magical pen, which obviously that's the stylus, the DS stylus, and you use that to kind of stop, start, shift around, move time around to kind of progress through the story. I think it's a very heavily story-driven game, but yeah, every now and again I'd quite fancy a bit of a game like this. So yeah, see how we get on with that. Other end of the spectrum, other end of the action spectrum. So it's a plural Aliens, so you know it's going to be action. Aliens, Infestation. Yeah, it's kind of middle of the road in terms of price for this game. So I did have a little ogle over the like gameplay footage and stuff on YouTube and other things, but it looks pretty decent. It's got a bit of like a Metroid Fusion and kind of feel to it, particularly like the obviously it's set in space, but kind of the space station level with the like little lifts and things. That looks a bit reminiscent of that, but it's got some big badass bosses. But you can kind of move between people in the team, and I think as they die, you then become another character. When all the team's gone, then obviously it's game over. But yeah, a bit of an interesting one. Obviously a Sega game, so I'll let you know how that one goes. And from Sega to Capcom, Resi, so Resident Evil Deadly Silence, which again I believe is like a remake. I don't get much, no manual or anything with it. It's the original Resident Evil, obviously on the DS. I think it's meant to be. I don't know if it's done through options, but I think it's a bit more action heavy than the original one. There's certainly meant to be different ways to play it, but it looks pretty decent. Obviously, the dual screen, you can have the map and you have your inventory even on the screen. So it looks very much like kind of the original setup. I'm not unsure about the controls, whether or not it's kind of tank controls or whatever, but yeah, I wanted to get that one in. It's kind of going up. None of these are like crazy money, but it's going up a bit in value. I guess like all blooming Resident Evil games, so I thought I'd jump on that. Game Boy Advance, again, are just nice. These are all in protector, so it's hiding any sins that they have got, but they equally are pretty. Most of these were very nice condition. So GBA, got like a double pack Gauntlet and Rampart. So a lot of love for Gauntlet back in the day on the Specky. Never played at the arcade kind of version, which I wonder if this one probably is a bit more steered to. Just play the good old specky one. It was tricked by the screenshots on the back, which I think were like the ST or the Amiga, but still a really cool game on the specky. Rampart, it's that kind of more of a strategy game, isn't it? I think I've got it on the Master System. Sure it came out on most blooming systems, but yeah, don't have many memories of playing that one. I think I'll be more on the doing the Dungeons and Dragons, the Wizards, the Warriors, and the Valkyrie and the Elf or whatever on Gauntlet. So that should be cool. It's definitely a theme running through, because we've got Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, talking about elves and warriors and stuff. It's like that top down, hacky slashy type of game. Looks quite nice actually. And again, it's really quite a reasonable game to pick up. Hopefully, it's got some badass big bosses and stuff, and some good like orc dragon fighting. But we'll see. But it's Two Towers, kind of the middle one, isn't it, in the trilogy? So yeah, hopefully it doesn't finish on a bit of a lull and get me keen to get what's the other one, Return of the King. I'm assuming came on the GBA as well, but we'll see. Double Mario and double sports, and I think I had tennis back in the day, but really wanted to get golf. So these fairly good conditions, same seller, so had to jump on these. I think I'm more into the golf Mario these days. I've matured with age, perhaps. I think it's just a bit more. Most of these kind of Nintendo games, where it seems to be a bit more going for it in the golf for whatever reason, role playing golf for this one. So yeah, nice boxes, all complete, and nice little additions to the GBA collection, which is doing pretty well. Yeah, a couple of a few of those recently. A couple from like Eddie as well. The Metroid. What else did I get from Guardian Heroes Advance as well? So that's looking, pleased with that little collection. Nice box, but not a great game. Not on the Game Boy, but shouldn't really be a surprise, should it? Mortal Kombat, 2 buttons. Even with that, it's very difficult to execute kind of any special moves. You can get through it. I pretty much got through it just by button bashing on a kind of standard difficulty. So it's a bit gimmicky, to be honest. It's quite nice to see the characters, and it's not, the frame rate and all that. It's not particularly. It's not the best way to play the game, but yeah, looks pretty cool. But doesn't look as cool as this one. So I've got the sequel to Gauntlet 2. But yeah, absolutely awesome art, but it's probably a bit more akin to the specky, the yellows and the blacks and the greens, so not far off, but looking like the specky version. Should add a bit more colour, the specky, that said, but that's pretty cool. Who grabbed this one recently? Champion 2D Rob showed this one. So great minds, one would think. He's got far better taste than me. Go and check out. I'm sure you'll sub to Rob. But yeah, Champion 2D Rob, absolutely awesome channel. And he picked this one up too. I think it's both R-Type 1, R-Type 2 Game Boy versions, but colorized. I think that's pretty much it. Not that there's anything wrong with it just being that, but that's what the DX boils down to. So pretty cool. Not going to be able to so tiny little screenshots on that. So we got which one should we do? This I wouldn't say it's not rare. Certainly not rare. None of these games are rare, but it's becoming more and more uncommon. Definitely going up in value. Probably not even the best way to play it, but the game I do like. 1942, but for the Game Boy Color. Again, with kind of hardware, limitations, amount of ships you can get on screen. You think your fire as well is all a bit limited. The backgrounds are quite limited, but for a pick up and play, if you think back to like Solar Strike on the original kind of Game Boy, That kind of, simplicity, yeah, a lot of fun. Does get a bit hammering with the reviews because obviously you can't compare it to most of the other versions because of those hardware constraints, but still a cool game, in my opinion. And yeah, nice box on this one. It was a bit of an eBay purchase. This one's from retrogames.co.uk, and again, that awesome channel. Jason's still doing those amazing giveaways, and it's just it's a lot of fun to watch that. But I do check out their website a fair bit. Big old, the biggest retro gaming website category or website kind of collection, the amount of stock ever or in the world, I think he says. But yeah, so I grabbed Game Boy Battletoads, which is, I thought it might be a bit like the NES one, but I do think it was different, and I think it was exclusive for the this version was made exclusively for the Game Boy. But you have got a bit of everything, a bit of platforming, a slight bit like 3D platforming as well. Bits where you kind of need to fly around, a bit more of a kind of a shmup style to it, but it's pretty good game. So loving that, and it's the box is so geeky, but it's just it's lovely. So yeah, I kind of a few years ago I was like, I'm never gonna had my kind of a handful of Game Boy bits of cardboard. I was like, I'll just get the loose carts, but it's like when they pop up, like an idiot, I go after them. Final thing, and again it's more cardboard, but it's 16-bit stuff, and it's something which I should have got a while ago because it was a lot cheaper a while ago, and with this kind of trading in, it felt like I wasn't really spending money on it, albeit I was. But yeah, Ali had a nice version and people kind of jumping on it, and I missed my notifications and a few other bits, and it's like, do you still want it? And I was like, yeah. So finally grabbed myself a version of the biggest box, the Super Metroid, for the SNES. Had to get a protective cover for this bad boy. I think it wasn't too pricey. I think I got it through Etsy. Starting to look at Etsy now for certain things, and even if it's just doing a price comparison to eBay and other places. But at the time, this box protector for Super Metroid was the cheapest one. That's actually decent quality as well. But yeah, I mean the box is, I've got to say, I never used the word minty, but the box is in great condition. The manual is not in good, the guide is not in good condition. So you lopped lots of money off for that when I had a look at it. It was just like, it's not great, is it? Like, no. But probably easier to get a good manual than it is the box that's quite like this. It hasn't got any visible kind of dings. Probably tiny little bits of wear. Probably where the box has just been open and closed. But I'm so chuffed with this. Absolutely, it's like been sitting in the middle of the shelf. Yeah, absolutely drooling over the bad boy. If I come across the player's guide in a better condition, which wouldn't be difficult to get a better condition than this one, maybe a difficult task to get one on its own. But I'd obviously fold it in. I don't think I'd find a better box than this, but absolutely made out with it. And that's it, guys. So yeah, cheers for listening to my my rambles. Hope everyone's well. Hope you had a good Easter weekend. And all that jazz. Hope the weather, certainly for the UK, gets a bit better, because it's been like the bloody miserable in terms of the rain. And I'll do a separate video at some point about Star Wars Celebration. It's a bit different to what we're going through here today, so I didn't want to combine the two. Big shout out to Steve. She's at the front of the vid, really. Shouldn't I? Cooper's World, top guy, top bloody channel. I've got a few YouTubers t-shirts. I need to bloody wear them a bit more on videos, so I do wear them when I'm out and about. Saved a lot of money on clothing. But big shout out to Steve. Get involved with his, I think it's still going. The time's run out. I haven't put my entry in, but it's Mario Kart tournament and the rest of it. But he's always he's got great taste in games, particularly Nintendo. So absolutely love it. All right, guys, I will see you on the next one. Take care. Speak soon. Cheers.